It's Big Brother's Big Archive. This week's episode, Cookies and Reese.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us for another episode of Big Brother's Big Archive. My name is Karl, and joining me as ever is Mr. Paul Barron.
Hello.
And Mr. Joseph Tilley.
Hello.
He's not on the other side of the Skype, he is right here.
Yes, no Skype connections, we're all together in the same room for once.
Yay! Happy house!
Holy crap! I can't even touch him.
Why have we got this impression that we're just going to be hearing a lot of happy hour in this episode?
No.
Well,
no. I do it a few times, but that's it.
Yeah, because of course this episode we're going to be talking about Big Brother 9, a favourite of Joseph Tilley's. One I particularly like as well. It's one I've been looking forward to recording for the last couple of months.
It's this one, you know, it is basically what Big Brother was. You know, the absolute putting a madcap bunch of people into a house, right, and just getting on with each other. There were some sparks here and there, but of course, but you know, it was what Big Brother was.
Yeah.
I always got this impression that I always felt that it was like this, after Big Brother 7 it was this so-called like dark age of the Channel 4 era. But yet Big Brother 9 was a great series, and like Big Brother 10 I feel that people are really harsh on these like less successful Channel 4 series. Because this is a good series for me, great characters, good storylines. I'm quite fond of the winner. I know most people won't agree with that, but I've always had a soft spot for Big Brother 9.
I think it's back to the roots of Big Brother, like the originals, the original couple of series. Then it went a bit downhill, but it went back up and went down again, unfortunately. But yeah.
But what we are going to be talking about, and we'll get started, we're going to start talking about Big Brother 9, which is, we're going to talk about launch night, and we're going to talk about that opening 16-person cast. And I don't know about you, I think maybe because we had Big Brother 8 the year before, where they had the all-female cast, very underwhelming. I felt that this cast had a lot more potential. I mean, I watched launch night back in 2008, saw this cast, and I immediately thought to myself, we could have a good series. Well, what did you think of the cast, Joe? Who stood out for you on that launch night?
I'd probably say definitely Katrina. The big heels and the pink shell suit thing, onesie.
Cats stumbling into the house with a massive platform shoes was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Sweet dear God. When I saw that, I thought one thing, trying a little bit too hard to appeal to the audience. Which audience? I'll never know.
But yeah, I felt this cast was going to be great straight from the start. But there was one contestant in particular, and Paul sort of hinted at him, that we need to discuss about. Watching it now, looking back retrospectively, and watching it when you first saw it back in 2008, what was your opinion on the casting of Mikey?
I think that it was a brave move by Channel 4 that they put someone in. I think it was just basically to show that there can be, you know, they can have a blind person in the house. I mean, they had Vern Troyer in, who was a little man. And he
little man cost a lot of damage, though.
Now, stop it with your fanboying.
Yes.
I can't help it. It's so brilliant. Okay.
Well, I agree with you, it was a brave decision, but do you think it was a wise decision? Because I always felt there was going to be two flaws with Mikey as the housemate. The first was that he was always going to be limited in how much he could provide to the show because of his disability. And the other thing was, he was always going to have an advantage simply because of the fact that he was blind.
Yeah.
I mean, Mikey could have just sat back, done absolutely nothing, and he was almost certainly going to win because of that. Where did you stand on Mikey, Paul?
Well, it is a bit of a ballsy move to have someone like Mikey to actually go in. But I am not judging him on a disability, because quite frankly, if you judged everyone with a disability, every single special child will have a Ferrari by now.
But obviously you're going to have to judge him on, like, based on first impressions, and that's going to be the first thing that's going to immediately stand out about him.
I would probably say he looked alright. He was absolutely canny. I mean, he was Scottish, don't get me wrong.
Is that a positive thing?
On one hand, yes, but don't challenge a Scottish man to a drinking contest.
Or chili?
Yes.
Chili eating contest.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably get the freakiest thing you'll ever see.
But yeah, I mean, we all have grievances about Mikey's casting. It's a bit of a touchy subject, and I think it continues to be to this day. And another touchy subject that we want to bring up is the opening week twist. I'll consider it one of the tackier opening twists, which was Mario and Stephanie's fake relationship, which eventually led to their wedding. Now, I thought the idea of Steph having to pretend to be Mario's girlfriend could have been quite funny. I think the idea was designed to basically try and show up Steph. I mean, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Having to befriend this buffoon-like figure. But
like
the idea of actually having them go through with the wedding and all the stuff like that was just too cheesy, and it just wasn't believable to the audience. It wasn't believable to the housemates. It was just silly for me.
It just reminded me of those fake sort of childlike weddings which have this crayon sort of certificate of registration marriage or something like that.
All I can say is thank God they didn't have Michelle Bass singing Pie Jesus. Pie Jesus.
If I ever make a T-shirt and get good with drawing, I am making that into a T-shirt.
I'd buy one.
Pie Jesus.
But I mean, it was just silly for me. I mean, were they trying to create some sort of tension between Mario and Lisa? I mean, it just seemed to fit.
I thought because Lisa was in on it, wasn't she?
Yeah, but it failed with dramatic tension. It failed in the chance to try and get Steph to look like a bad figure. I mean, it just failed on those things.
Yeah.
And plus, as well, they ended up manufacturing the ending. Because the rules were originally they were supposed to go through the wedding. If they did that, they passed the task.
Yeah.
And then they changed it once they realised that they'd actually gone through with it.
Yeah.
Which, that was harsh, because...
With their crayon made register.
But it was a bad decision as well, because you've devoted time to these 4 characters who have carried your show for the first week.
Yeah.
And now you're choosing to get rid of one to save... Well, essentially, I think it was to save Alexandra. But I mean, Alexandra was always going to be...
She was the only one who figured out that it was fake.
And yet she got criticised for it.
Yeah.
That was the job of the task, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But it actually does bring us on to a good point, which we're going to bring up, which is Alexandra during week 1.
Ugh.
She dominated week 1, whether it was a good thing that she did or a bad thing that she did, but everybody was talking about her.
I hated her. From day one, I couldn't stand her. I knew that she was going to be some kind of thuggy gangster chav, and she proved that, and
great.
I just didn't have the time to do for her.
I think I'm right in saying Alexandra holds the record for the lowest launch night winning odds ever.
Yeah.
Whoever placed a bet on that one is going to be a rich man. Unfortunately, that would be a stupid bet as well.
Do you think Alexandra was cast to try and cash in on Charlie? Because Charlie was such a breakout character during Big Brother 8. And there was sort of some similarities between the two.
Yeah, it was kind of like a pound shop Charlie.
now with profanity spewing vulgar language. Pull the string and watch her swear.
But we'll move on though, and we're going to move on to something which is pretty much inescapable in the Channel 5 series. But it's made its debut this year during Channel 9. Joe's excited. The shock suits.
Yes!
Now this is sadistic on so many fucking levels.
And I believe it was, I think it was Rex and Dennis who had to try and negotiate. George just looked this up for us, but I think it was Rex and Dennis who had to negotiate their way through one of those
Dennis and Rachel.
Now
there you go.
If I was
the winners of the previous task, holding the panel above there.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
If I was in Big Brother and I hated most of the housemates, I would have made them sing Pavarotti. It's just...
I'd love to go in your mind.
Yeah. I have to say though, I loved it when Rex just started doing it to them just to shock them all.
I think it was Stephanie that was in the diary room complaining, and
she got shocked.
She got shocked in the bum so many times.
Yeah, but I mean, we get a bit sick of watching them now, but it was great fun when we first saw it, and a great addition. But of course, we ended up losing Stephanie that week, which I thought was very unfortunate. It was quite very close between her and Mario. Actually, I believe Mario was the favourite with the bookies to go at that point, which would have made him the first male ever evicted first. What do you think it was that pushed Steph? Because I don't know, I really began to warm to Steph by the end of the week. I think she saw a side to her which could have made her a great housemaid if she'd stayed longer.
I think it was Mario's
the fake
one with the health and safety that kept him.
We're going to have to talk about the health and safety later.
And also the fact that everyone tried to push Steph so much so with the wedding.
Do you think it was just resentment towards the fact that Steph was a pretty girl? Because we know those type of people never do well on Big Brother. You're always going to be judged based on preconceptions at a show like this. Do you think that Steph was just doomed for simply being a pretty girl?
No, I don't think so, because loads of pretty girls have got far.
A couple of them raging for a start.
Yes.
Right,
so one of the questions I do ask is, if the votes came in for Mario to go first, how do you think Steph would have handled later in the series? How far do you think she could have gone?
Not very, I don't think. Because she was alright, she had her moments, but there was much more. There was 21 housemates went in, and about 18 had bigger personalities than her.
And of course we would have ended up losing Mario's health and safety warnings, which brings me on to our next point, which was Mario's delusions of grandeur, or the emergence of the comedic Mario, because I have to be honest, Mario was a bit of a dick in that first week, not very likeable. But I really did feel that once he survived that eviction, there was this emergence of this more goofy sort of fun time figure, which I thought was fantastic entertainment.
I think after the first task with Steph, where she went and Mario could be with Lisa, I think that's when he emerged.
Yes, I think so.
Because he loves Lisa, or loved Lisa.
Yeah. At the time of the series, let's just say he loves Lisa. So yeah, I mean, for a start, I'm starting to say that health and safety is everywhere these days.
Mainly because of Mario, I was surprised that Mario came out of the house and started.
What the friggin' hell? Put those bloody things down!
But I have to say though, people might not agree with me, but the health and safety warnings were some of the funniest moments of Big Brother 9 for me. I mean, one of them which I particularly loved was when I think someone left a pair of high heels right in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
And Mario was a bit unsure because he thought Mikey might be able to trip over them. And he makes this big announcement to the rest of the house. And he goes like, "Mikey's got a disability, everyone. Open your eyes." And it's like, dude, what's the one thing Mikey can't do?
Everyone's face. It was a bit of a mix of confusion and shock.
It was a perfect David Brent moment for me. Mario was David Brent.
Yeah.
But as well as this though, there were also these sort of like delusional Mario moments as well, which I have to bring up. First of all, can you remember him talking about his 14 million fans?
Yeah.
Oh yes, his fan club where he's from, Dorset.
Well, yeah, I think he'd been on Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway.
Aye.
And he claimed that because he was on that show, he knew Ant and Dec, he got all of his fans from that.
Yes, well done, you delusional, self-important man.
Yes.
I was going to call him something different, but I know for a dang fact he's still on the internet, so I'm not going to try anything.
Yep. And of course, custard creams.
Custard creams and cookie love.
Yes.
As another word.
Cookies always get mentioned when it comes to Big Brother 9. We've got to remember custard creams.
Oh yes.
Being dumped into hot, juicy tea.
Cookie porn.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going rule 34 on this bitch. There is going to be cookie porn.
A great comedy moment though. You cannot deny that was a great funny moment. And Mario just in that second week was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. We're going to be moving on though, and we're going to be moving to the Japan themed shopping task.
Oh dear.
Yes. Now, again, a selection of mini tasks. They always seem to do this on Big Brother, don't they? If in doubt, throw in a couple of mini tasks, get them to some sort of stereotypical racist theme.
Yeah.
And this year it's Japan.
Okay.
One of the standouts for me was the 24-hour karaoke task.
Yeah.
Which involved Rebecca, I think, having to sing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes.
For, what was it, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a record, that is.
She failed badly.
Oh, thank Christ.
What I love is when you first watch it, you see Rebecca going in, she realises, oh my god, it's Total Eclipse of the Heart, and she's swaying, she's like singing at the top of her voice, and then after about...
couple of hours
The
later.
beginning of it.
She just saw,
Fed up.
yeah, every now and then I get a little bit lonely, which still sounds a lot better than Bonnie Tyler did at Eurovision.
Yes, you failed for us, Bonnie. You failed for us. But yet we beat the Germans and the French. So good on you.
Yes, because
Again.
that's all that we care about in the world.
Beating the Germans and the French.
But of course, it was during that Japanese task where, sitting on the floor, of course, no couches as part of the task, Alexandra, just as a geisha, made that threat. The question I want to ask, though, is: do you think Alexandra's threat justified ejection?
No.
Yeah.
Because
Threatening behaviour.
it's you don't want to actually presume a threat in a place like Big Brother.
But I will say, though, I have seen a lot of far worse stuff caught as epilator rant, which didn't get reward being kicked out.
Which is kind of odd. And those
he only
Victor
did that.
he kicked it.
He only did that once though.
It wasn't.
So Alexander was constant threat.
Yeah.
Do you know what the most funny bit, or the most, if you when headphones sell off, the most hilarious bit was reading the papers after she came out and she got ruined. People keyed her car, threatened her kid. It was so funny. I mean, not threatening kids isn't funny, but her getting threatened is hilarious.
We call that karma where I'm from.
But another question I want to ask is: obviously, we saw that Alexandra had the potential to do this. Why did production keep her in the show in the first week when you knew there was a possibility of her making these sort of threats and getting herself kicked out?
I don't think they knew that she was going to make threats. I think, she seemed alright in the first week. She didn't seem as gangster.
But Alexandra was always going to go early. Why just keep her artificially around for one more week when she was just going to be going straight away anyway?
Simple. Cause tension in the house.
Yeah. Yeah,
But of course, Alexandra goes. Does anybody have any good recollections of Alexandra?
No.
I really found it a little bit hilarious when they actually found the most threatening behaviour in the world, considering the fact that that she was dressed as a geisha, a perceived mount of honour for the house owner.
The one thing I will say, her berating Muhammad when he was dressed in drag, I will give him that.
Yeah.
So Alexandra gets ejected, but of course we've got a Friday Night Live show to fill. So they're going to send someone straight in, and they decide to choose Stuart Pilkington.
Mr. Guyliner.
Mr. Guyliner, Mr. Cupid Stunt himself.
Me God.
Now, what do you think Stuart was the right person to put in there? I mean, we lost 2 females, and yet you decided to put in a male. Do you think that was just to try and cause some tension in the whole Dale and Jen relationship that was developing?
They wanted to fill the space. They found someone to fill the space. They put him in. End of story.
Yeah.
I felt they could have chosen a bit better. I just didn't feel that Stuart was going to bring anything.
Was he someone who failed to get through
Yeah.
the main 21?
I think so, yeah.
You could have done that with me, Channel 4! You could have done that with me!
You fell at stage 1 of the auditions.
That's bad, Paul.
Well, we'll move on though, and one thing I haven't got in my notes, but I do want to talk about this, was that after Alexandra left, did anybody notice that Sylvia really took over the mantle as the villain? I mean, Sylvia had always been Alexandra's lackey,
but
now that she gone, they've really amped up how bad of a villain Sylvia was. And I mean, Sylvia delivered as a villain, I felt.
Yeah. Can I bring up something quickly?
Yes, you can.
Which is one of my favourite parts of the house, which is the jail. And the first person go is Rebecca with her go to jail card from the Japan task, which was so funny.
Which was good, and I like the jail, and they sort of brought it back for Big Brother 14. They should have do that more often. Big Brother should be a bit more zero tolerant. I felt we've been getting away with far too much. Summer Week 3 highlights that we need to bring up: the OK Go shopping task.
Okay.
Yes, can everybody remember when everyone loved OK Go?
Hey, I still like OK Go. I mean, the latest music video, which had the car.
Although most people know them as the treadmill band, but it was a good task, very enjoyable. I think they did brilliantly on the task. But it was just a minor part of something that really ended up dominating the series. We need to discuss this in detail. Spitgate.
Oh God.
Yes, we're going to start off. It started, I believe, from a painting task which the housemates did, in which Jen won for a picture of Stuart. which he took a lot of pride about. I mean, it wasn't even that good.
No, it wasn't that good.
She called it a Monet.
Yeah, so
give me the Monets.
So Rex, in his joking way, this was basically Rex's breakout moment for me. I mean, he had still that bit of joking moments, but this is where he really began to stand out. Decides to sabotage the picture, improving things. He just adds a bit of shading,
some nipples.
And Jen gets really uptight about it, really upset.
Well, you're altering someone else's picture.
And he smudged pizza on it.
Oh.
But it was. I mean, it wasn't like the what Mr. Bean did to Whistler's mother.
I would really buckle and he went. There we go. There you go, Rex.
But no, Jen really overreacts about this, and Rex goes in to apologise, but Jen's got like Stuart and Dale with them, and they want to try and prove themselves. They get uptight and arguing, and then Moore comes in to try and defend his friend, and then Dennis comes over, says F off nominee, bam, spit in the face, and that's when it all kicks
And
off.
that's when Darnell rushes in.
Oh, for me, there were 3 stars of
Spitgate.
3 stars of Spitgate. Darnell, Mario, because I think Mario handles himself really well in the aftermath of that, and Rex. I think they really came out of it really well. But it set the basis for the divide in the house. Basically, from that point on, you were on the side of those who defended Moore and those who basically lambasted him.
Yeah.
And I think he was on the in the bedroom in tears.
Oh, Moore was devastated. It was
He
so
was.
sad to say. And I mean, Dennis really riled me. Because can you remember, he gets called to the diary room, passes Moore, and he starts like going, "Oh, big baby, what you crying about?" I mean, he was scum. I'm sorry, Dennis was scum.
Yeah.
One thing we must mention, and I'm not bringing this up, Karl brought it up.
Oh, I love this.
Face.
I love this comedy moment. If you ever remember when Darnell comes charging into the luxury bedroom, like saying, "You don't spit on someone's face." Look in the background at Kat. Kat standing on a bed with this look of absolute terror on her face. It's so funny. I mean, just a great comedy Kat moment. And I mean, there were a lot of them over the course of the series. Joel will probably tell you about 5,000 of them.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me gushing over certain housemates like Adam and friggin' Fern Troyer. This is the biggest Cookie fan I'll ever see in my life.
I love how
this man is mad for Cookie.
I love how you just call him Cat Cookie.
Happy house!
But yeah, Dennis very rightly gets kicked out of the house. And I mean, can anybody think of anything good to say about Dennis whatsoever?
Nah. He's not actually a memorable
I
character
think,
to say.
remembering, the only person really on Dennis's side was Sylvia, the other bad guy.
And Sylvia, who ends up being evicted that week.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.
Now, I do actually have a lot to say about Sylvia. I mean, I don't like Sylvia as a person, and I want to make that perfectly clear to everybody. But as a villain in the show, I think she delivered in that regard. When she stirred trouble, she bitched about people. But like, Big Brother 9 had these sort of like villains of the week, and I mean, everybody remembers Alexandra, everybody remembers Jen because of Spitgate. Nobody ever remembers Sylvia, yet I think Sylvia was great for that week that she was like Queen Bee, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, not a nice person, I want to make that clear, but she did what she's supposed to, but it was right that she went, and it was 89%, I think? 89% of the evict vote?
Probably.
90.2.
90.2%.
Yeah. Against Mohammed.
Yes.
And those greedy Mo survived.
And first Greedy most survived, and we would never get rid of him.
Yay!
But yeah, Sylvia gets evicted, and the new villains of the week begin to emerge. Some say it was Jen, others say it was Luke and Bex.
Like monsters from the friggin' Power Rangers.
I was going to say that actually. Very Power Rangers. Point to Rebecca. Magic wand, make my monster grow.
No, Becca, no!
But yeah, we need to talk about Luke and Bex, okay? Now they sort of start developing a relationship around this point, but also as well, Luke, before this point, had been this happy-go-lucky chap. He was sort of got the role as the diary room narrator, and there was a real negative downturn in Luke's popularity and Luke's portrayal with this, in my opinion. He starts beginning obsessing about the 100 grand. He starts assuming that people who could be contenders to win are bad people. Of course, he took Dennis's side in Spitgate, What did you make of that? The downturn in Luke's edit, and also the relationship with Rebecca.
I think that it was completely fake, as many showmances have been in Big Brother.
Well,
Oh, come on, Paul. You can't tell me that you thought that was genuine.
it would be too. I mean, you've heard about Mario and Lisa.
Well, you could tell they were suited for each other. Let's be honest, because they were both off the rocker.
They broke up pretty much straight after the show.
In that case, then I hope you actually got a quick thingy in there and then out.
But yeah, it really put a lot of people off Luke. That.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Bex. Pound Chopper Dell, that's all I say.
No. Had massive boobs though. God,
I love how that's what Paul focuses on.
Sorry, I'm a
Two
bloke.
focus points.
We also had the zoo task. Standout moments for me is Mikey reciting a poem and turning it about sexual chains and whips.
Jan getting fished.
Was it Jen and Bex, I think, who were the seals?
Yeah.
And had to get fished every single time. And also the randomness of Lisa dressed as a flamingo.
Yeah.
It's just what? What kind of drug hallucination thing have you been watching?
Big Brother.
I liked the Mo and Darnell having to eat a carrot every 15 minutes.
I like that. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, the zoo task was fun. But it predicted. It was the foreshadowing of Jen being evicted. Once again, another villain of the week is defeated.
No!
And I think it was against Rex, and I think it was about 89%, I believe.
Yes.
Now, what was your view on Jen? Because I felt that before Spitgate emerged, Jen was a very quiet character. And Spitgate basically pushed her to the forefront, made her this villain character, and then she was straight out anyway. Any Jen moments that come to mind for you? What about the relationship
Apart from
with...
getting fished.
What about the relationship with Dale? What did you think of that?
Fake, fake, fake.
And Paul?
Fished is actually pretty funny.
I felt Jen was just quite a poor housemate. I mean, she was last minute, so I can sort of forgive her for that, but I didn't think she brought that much, and what she brought wasn't that pleasant. And I know she's a Geordie girl, so I sort of have to support her a little bit, but no, I'm sorry.
But on the other hand, though, it's hilarious to see someone like that actually get fished.
Yeah.
Slap right in your face with the fish.
Thankfully, though, we ended up trading up, because as Jen left, 3 new females came in, and they were Sarah, Maysoon, and Belinda. Now, what was your views on these 3 girls? What were your expectations of them? I felt these was just such a trade-off from Jen. I felt Belinda was obviously going to be an early build, but she was going to be fun. You could tell she was going to be fun. Sarah had a lot of complexity, and I felt that Australian accent was gorgeous. And I felt that she had a lot of potential to be maybe more of a breakout character. Maysoon, I do have issues with. I mean, even from that point, I could tell Maysoon was dull.
Yeah.
Yeah, not worth wasting a lot of time on Maysoon.
That explains why Maysoon was a bit of a, Sarah had her moments, but unfortunately, again...
So you weren't too infused with the 3 girls?
Nah, except for Belinda, who I'm pretty guessing is kind of a fun character.
Yes. Other things, we move on to week 5, and we move on to a little task that I have to bring up. Can you remember the punch themselves out of a paper bag task?
Yes.
And can you remember Lisa spending about 10 minutes failing to try and get out?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring this up. Lady, take off your oven mitts. Leave them at the door. Get out that friggin' paper bag.
But I always found it quite funny that because like Lisa was supposed to be the alpha female of the house, and yet it is a strength-based task which she can't do.
It's just I would really buckle if she goes. It just gives up after 5 minutes.
But I do remember weren't Lisa and Mario working out in the Big Brother gym every morning?
Yes. I mean, Lisa.
How could she not fight her way out of paper bag?
That's what made it funny for me.
Mario, get the scissors. Stuck.
Other things during week 5, we had the Irish dancing task, which they completely failed at. Although Rex's look of sheer joy as they were doing it was funny. I thought.
How the hell can you get a blind man to do that?
I think Mikey was the choreographer.
That's That's just bullshit. I just want. How can you? It's just you can't make.
Calm down, Paul.
All
And
is
he's gone.
shut down.
Yes. And here's a little thing that I want to bring up.
I'm back.
Now, one of the impacts that Belinda had, I only just discovered this myself on rewatching. Belinda had a snoring problem. That was one of the main reasons why she ended up getting nominated the week after. But Belinda really had trouble snoring. And what she ended up doing was she forced Kat and Rachel out of the luxury bedroom, and they began sleeping in what was B block. So essentially, Belinda, one of the most forgettable characters of Big Brother 9, ended up creating B block. And one of the things I want to bring up is that whole B block versus Whisper Club thing, because one of the things I've always noticed is there's usually these divides in the house, or very easily good versus evil. Like we had the Outsiders versus the Insiders with Big Brother 13, B block versus the Whisper Club, the Jungle Cats versus the Lip Gloss Bitches. Do you like it in a series when there's this very blatant line between good and bad?
Yeah, I do. I really love it. It's the best.
You do see a lot of, you do get a little bit of a kick when the good guys win back, but on the other hand, the good guys can turn into the bad guys very quickly.
And well, that's why I asked the question, because I feel that when you have a good versus evil divide, you can't really have bad guys within the good side. You sort of have to automatically root for anyone, because people like Moore, for example, who I wasn't too particularly keen on, I felt I had to root for because he was on the good side of the house.
Aye. I mean, to tell you the truth, he wasn't actually mighty Mo, he was kind of slightly greedy Mo, but slightly less smaller Mo.
So yeah, B Block versus the Whisper Club, and this is one of the very few times the Whisper Club ended up winning a week for victory, which was Mario versus Bex, and Mario ends up going. Do you think that was the right decision in retrospect?
No. It was funny because the health and safety thing was so annoying, but as soon as he left...
It made him.
But as soon as he left, it was sad that there was no more health and safety.
I mean, I loved Mario. I will always defend Mario to Hill. I mean, take away his weak one side, and the guy was just this goofy, unintentionally hilarious train wreck of a character. Him and Lisa were fantastic entertainment. He always had some sort of great comedic moment. And also I felt he was a nice bloke. I mean, I know
he is a nice bloke. I mean he only did it because of the fact that Mikey had a disability.
And that's one of the questions I ask. Do you think Mario supporting Mikey and giving all these health and safety warnings about Mikey was him genuinely looking out for him, or him thinking Mikey's going to be popular, I want to try and latch onto that popularity?
I think it was the first one that you said.
I felt there was a bit of both, personally. I felt that, yes, Mario was quite media savvy, wanted to try and be seen as doing the good thing, but I felt there was a genuinely good person there.
Yeah.
But mind you, if we were in that house, the fun we would have with him.
But yeah,
Mario!
I loved Mario. I felt he was a great character. Any great Mario moments that come out for you two?
Biscuit porn.
Biscuit porn.
I'm going to agree with that because, the fact that somewhere in the internet there will be biscuit porn.
And I love the fact that he did his sexy dancing with Lisa and he was looking directly at the camera whilst he was doing it.
I also like Mario because he tweets me. Yay.
Yes.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Mario.
It's Joe. Feel free to bomb his Twitter account.
Yeah. So we move on from Mario and we move on to week 6 and we move on to Heaven versus Hell.
Yay!
Which was basically an attempt to try and catch in on which side Pooh's side.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But I mean, it was a good task, a good twist.
Yeah. Am I right in saying that they've kind of taken this from the American series?
Yes, the head of the house.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that worked in a Big Brother UK environment? Because I've always loved Big Brother America. And I've always wanted to try and embrace some sort of BB US style elements. And we sort of did that with Head of the House. Do you think it worked within a BB UK environment?
I think it did, and they should have done it more, really.
It wouldn't have, because if you put it's always been there. If you put a seat of power into something, people will fight tooth and nail to get onto that seat of power.
But isn't that what they wanted?
Oh yeah, but it would have spoiled the show in a way. You wouldn't have gotten the best part if you.
I thought it would have made it though, because
It
you would have seen people going power hungry.
It would have, but it would also have, would have spoiled it because there was a bit of togetherness there. It wasn't just a house; it was a family as well.
Well, a divided family based on the whole spectrum.
A divided family, but still a family.
Yeah, well, I liked the head of the house. I felt it was something novel. I would have wanted to try and embrace more Big Brother UK elements. I mean, what if the idea of the head of the house being the only nominated that week? I mean, that would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
And it would have made the head of the house competitions far more
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we move on from that and we move on to another stereotypical nationality task. This one, France.
Yay!
Oh God, this is becoming evil. I've been told off for homophobic things. I don't want to be told off by France.
Now, I don't remember that much about the French thing task, but one thing I do remember: the two of the France task and Belinda on the bike.
Go on, Belinda. You do it for Britain, and that like that Lance Armstrong guy did.
What, by cheap?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Belinda in that task was great fun. I mean, she was either singing her heart out on the bike or she was passed out and basically dying.
As one of the clips actually showed. Oh, I can do this same time. Oh, ding a ding a ding time, ding time.
Any other great moments of that task?
Rex had to do French food, which was interesting,
Yes.
and they had to make a foot-long baguette, which they had to eat, and failed terribly.
Yes.
I don't even get halfway.
I can't believe they failed when they had Greedy Mo in the group.
I know. Oh no, Mo wasn't in that group. Mo had to do wine tasting. God knows why.
Tastes like chicken.
Rachel and
Chicken with a slight
Masoon
pheasant.
had to do mime.
Yes, I remember that. Unfortunately though, Belinda on the bike was one of the last big moments of Belinda because, as I predicted, she was almost immediately on her way out. Surprisingly close though against Rex. What was it? 59%?
65.
65% of the vote.
Obviously, when she's on that bike all the time.
But I mean, I think everybody knew Belinda was going to be out early, but she was a good, fun
She was
character. Quirky,
Yeah.
and I mean, she would have got overbearing if she stayed around longer, but I felt she was a nice person, a good person. Maybe not the most memorable, but I think for what she brought to the show in that short space of time.
And also you can probably see, Belinda, and also the fact that everyone else can sleep more better now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any great Belinda moments for you, Joe?
The friend, the bike one, that was the best, and just her general not being able to remember names.
Yeah, I remember
saying
that.
it 3 times.
We salute you. We're the same sufferers. Isn't that right, guy in chair?
Karl.
Yeah, I like Belinda, and I think she deserves a bit more praise. I mean, she was just a fun cameo. That's the best way to describe it for me.
Yeah.
And now we come to week 7, and week 7 being dominated by Bex and the fall of Bex. Now, Bex for me, by this point, it just becomes so much of a try-hard. I mean, she started off quite endearing in the early weeks when they were maybe a bit more timid. There were bigger characters sort of overshadowing her. But once she started coming to the forefront more, she was just unbearable.
Unbearable on one hand because I'm representing the adult male side of the audience. It sort of brings yay to the bright side of things, but on the other hand, it was a bit of an attention-seeking moment.
Oh, she was by this week, Becca just
I had
became
to
an
take off all my
attention-seeking
clothes.
The
crowd.
attention, yeah. Bex losing her clothes. I bet that made you happy.
Yeah. Big Brother told me to make me take off my clothes. This is Big Brother. I told nothing. Nothing of the sort.
But there were so many moments like that with Rebecca during that week. Can you remember when she did the head of the house task? When she was on the tire swing and she gave up after about a minute?
Yeah. Yeah. That was almost as bad as Nikki and the bath task. It's too cold!
if I was there, would have said, "Get in that bathroom. I'm putting your face in it."
So either Becca was making a show of herself, stripping off, or trying to kiss the hell out of Luke, which in itself was irritating as well with Luke's monotone voice.
It just reminds me so much of. Have you ever seen a cartoon where you've seen the crazy one try to get with the one who doesn't want to be with the crazy one?
Well, do you know what it was? It was Kevin and Miss Piggy. But it was, they looked like them, they sounded like them.
I know what they want. It's just Becky. It's just Luke getting chased by Becky in the background.
And no, Becca, no! Don't kiss me, no!
It's so annoying. I mean, endearing first couple of times.
Yeah.
Especially when Luke was still quite popular. But by week 7, we were sick of them. And
I mean, did they go all the way?
I don't think they ever went all the way. But I mean, both of them just did themselves no favours for me. And if anything, I would have thought that maybe Bex might have had a bit of a chance to stay in that week. But the moment they started playing up to the cameras, did it in.
I think Bex went in looking for someone hot to have a showmance with. There's no one there, so she went with Luke.
Oh, that's just horrible. It just goes, oh, there's no, hey look, there's no one else here, can I do a showmance with you? Am I the last one on the friggin' list? I mean, there's more! There's not now! He's not, it's just, oh, fair enough.
And it basically is the pivotal moment as well. This eviction, Rebecca's eviction, which was Darnell versus Moore versus Bex. Basically, it is the pivotal moment of the B Block versus Whisper Club feud, which had been building over that week.
Why does that just sound like a children's book, like The Secret Seven or something?
And can anybody remember that look of sheer horror when Bex gets told she's evicted?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would have, you know, if I was against Darnell and Moore, I would have.
Yeah,
seen it coming.
I mean, Bex was insistent that Moore was gone.
Yeah.
And but mind you, I would have given a teary goodbye.
Well, one question I do ask though is that people always talk about the merits of vote to save, vote to evict. If that was a vote to save eviction, do you think Bex would have stayed?
No.
Well, that's pretty ominous, isn't it?
Because the fact that
it was against two strong people.
Aye, because they're both good characters.
I think Darnell would have stayed. I think it would have been close between her and Moore though.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, but can anybody remember Luke before that eviction? I remember Kat singing Happy House, everybody, and Luke shout out the door, we'll see who's happy tonight, shut up!
Yeah.
And across that moment, Bex scores, Luke loses, Luke knows he's done for.
Yeah.
Are there any good aspects to Bex's personality? I know we call savage her a bit, but are there any sort of elements of her which are quite positive?
She was bubbly. I liked her because she was like a bubbly personality.
She was someone who worked better for me in small doses.
But she clung on, yeah. She clung on to Luke too much.
To tell you the truth, stripping down in front of all those cameras is a brave and bold thing to do.
Well, she had a
blatant attention seeking though.
Blatant attention.
She had that underwear on.
Well, other underwear on as well, but still very brave. Very brave.
It wasn't her choice either.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yes. Not your choice.
Now, we move on to week 8, and we move on to something that I think we all love, the chili eating task.
Yay!
And a couple of things which I point out about the chili eating task, which I absolutely love. First of all, can anybody remember Kat?
Yes.
Yep.
Kat savouring every single moment and enjoying them all.
Well, the same with Kat was, she's enjoying them, but she didn't do enough to, you know.
No, she was too slow.
She was savouring it too much. She would just. I know, you know, because she's Thai, she likes chilies and stuff, but she took her time too much.
Yeah, and someone who certainly took his time, we have to bring this up more.
Yeah.
You just there's a splash of milk after.
Now I assume Moore hammed a lot of this up for the cameras, but that was funny for me.
Yeah.
Screaming at the big brother, number 8, number 8.
Can I eat it?
It's just. And also, the look on Mikey's face when he ate that chili.
The Scotch bonnet.
Oh my god, it was basically something that out of Star Trek.
Just before we get to that, well, another funny thing with Moore was after he left the diary room, he got a bag of sugar and just went, and just poured it down his throat. Sugar doesn't help, by the way, with chilies.
No.
Why did you do that in the first place? I need something to throw down. Oh, it's not working. It's bad.
And he hopped in the shower as well.
But yeah, very funny moment, and I certainly enjoyed that. And was it Stuart, I believe, who ended up
Yes,
winning the head of the house? So yeah, a rare Stuart moment in the limelight.
Yeah. Yay.
Now we come on to one of the pivotal moments, and one of the things which, in my opinion, helps decide our winner, which is VT Gate, which is a group of the Heavenly Housemates, which Stuart had chosen, got to watch the other housemates' VTs. And in particular, they see Rachel's, and they see the Rachel on the VT, which is this quirky, irritating, annoying, bubbly girl. And that kicks off everything in the house.
Yeah.
Which results in Rex's infamous line, "I'd swap you for Scrabble." Now, I want to use this to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about the Rex and Rachel relationship, which it was quite complex between the two, because I felt they sort of quite fond of each other, but at the same time I felt they niggled at each other. It was almost brother and sisterly, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'll also say that in his VT, Dale, what a bastard.
Mikey.
Well,
Mikey had some great. Mikey, when he swore, was just randomly funny to me. And the other thing I want to bring up about Rachel is, I want to bring up the way that Rachel dealt with a lot of criticism, because I think this was the start of Rachel really becoming this sort of house victim with a lot of things, and I think Rex started doing that a lot to her.
Well, it was Alexander who started it.
Alexander started it, but I think Rex really carried it on. Now, how did you feel about the way Rachel handled a lot of that? And do you think that was sort of one of the reasons why she ended up being the victor from the end of the show?
Yeah, I think it was. She wanted sympathy, basically. That's what I think.
I never thought she clamoured for sympathy. I've just felt that the public were endeared by the way she just got on with it and just stood her ground. I mean, she didn't bitch about it. She just like, okay, I'm sorry about that. Here I am.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and we'll get into a lot of Rachel Rice stuff, because that is a very divisive subject on internet forums and in the group here. But we move on to the cops and robbers task, and particularly I want to talk about the identity parade, because this preempts Nicole entering the house, which was that I believe it was Rachel and Sarah who had to identify Moore's brother and Rex's girlfriend from a list of 6 suspects. And we got Moore's brother pretty easily. But I always remember there was, Rex had just spent month after month talking about how his girlfriend was his princess, how he absolutely adored her.
But she's a dog, really.
And of course they end up picking the wrong person for the task.
Yeah.
So when they actually find out who this girl was that Rex and Rachel chose, Rex absolutely kicks off about it.
Number 6!
My girlfriend is a lot prettier than that. That looks like a pumpkin head. But I remember as well on the forums, everybody was trying to figure out who this number 6 was, and there were like people posting on forums saying, "Is this girl number 6?" She sort of became like a cult favourite.
Number 6.
Yeah. But of course, it ends up preempting Nicole entering the house, which we'll need to bring up later on.
Hooray!
Before we do that though, anybody remember what was basically the great Rex moment of the series? This was like his peak, really. The shopping stunt.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to tell us about this one, Joe?
Rex got, for the shopping list, coffee, tea, sugar, and 57 special prizes.
Which included the picture of number 6, which included the Scotch bonnet,
a pram, a spam, a ham.
Absolutely fantastic. Rex played Big Brother at his own game there, and it was a fantastic moment.
It was. This sounds much more fun than my sort of list.
What did they do with the pram?
Booze.
I don't even know what they did.
I think they probably kept that round for Celebrity 6 for Vern Troyer.
No, I mean, what did they do with it in the house?
I am drunk out of my mind.
I think someone actually wheeled it round for a bit.
I think
cut
so.
it out with the editing.
But they just wheeled him along, and he's doing the finger from The Spy Who Loved Me.
But I think as well that was like the first real shopping list sabotage. You know, we had Harry with the bananas and Caroline with the chocolate. That for me was always the best shopping list sabotage.
Yeah.
But it was as good as Rex ever got, because they ended up completely ruining it and bringing in Nicole. What was your opinion on that decision?
I don't like it. I really hate it when they're bringing people's contestants as girlfriends or boyfriends.
The thing is though, and Channel 4 and Channel 5 seem to continually do this after Nicole. What's the point of them? Because I've never seen a relative housemate who's been any good.
No, they haven't got very
like
far at all.
Nicole, as we're going to say, is terrible. Kenneth was terrible. Jem was terrible.
Yeah.
Isaac left after about two minutes.
2 days. No, it was like 10 minutes.
But yeah, a really bad decision for me, and it just stifled a lot of fun that Rex had.
Yeah.
And a really bad decision. It's something we're going to be bringing up later on. But of course, that week we saw 2 people departing. One thanks to the British public, and one on their own accord. First of all, we need to talk about Maysoon. Yeah, I don't think anybody can remember anything about Maysoon. Can you, Paul?
Nah.
Maysoon.
I think we just need to move on there.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think
May soon, see you soon.
yes, very poor housemate. Honestly, sorry, she might be listening to this, but she's one of the worst ever. Just in simply how little she did. The other one was far more prominent, and that was Luke.
No.
Now we need to talk about Luke. He's quite a divisive figure. We're going to talk to Joe because I think Joe's a bit more positive about Luke than maybe I am.
Well, Luke, I think he was a nice fella, and it's hard to say about Luke because he was such a nice fella, but his downfall was with Becca, and
the paranoia about the 100 grand
Yeah.
as well. I mean, just when you hear that 500 times every episode, Luke wondering about the
yeah. I think that with Bex going, he kind of lost his mojo.
yes. I've noticed that as well, and I think he knew with Bex going, he picked the wrong side.
Yeah.
He was in trouble and he was going to be out soon. And I think I lost a lot of fight in him. But any positive sides to Luke? I mean, the Luke of the early episodes was annoying, but strangely endearing.
Yeah, it was endearing, but it just crumbled, I think.
Yeah. His paranoia got the better of him. And I mean, thankfully, he's sorted himself. He's a lot more positive over some of those people he was on the opposite side about. So he sort of redeemed himself. And he's quite witty when he's on bit on the side, but during Big Brother 9, he was terrible for me.
Yeah.
So Luke goes that week, and we come to week 9, which ends up pretty much dominated by Rex and Nicole.
Yeah.
And some of the most insufferable episodes of that series for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Which again makes me question, why did Channel 4 do this? Because basically, you are killing your best character in the show by putting in his girlfriend and having to cater for her. And I mean,
literally.
Almost immediately, Nicole's just moaning and whinging and complaining.
And all she does is complain about going.
It's terrible. It's so annoying to watch.
I know.
What about you on Rex and Nicole, Paul?
Rex and Nicole, practically one of those showman's thingies. It's just
nothing much to say.
No, I mean, it was terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I mean, they might have loved each other on the outside, but inside the house, it was just so fraught. I mean, some people might enjoy it because there's a bit of a train wreck aspect to it. Like, they're basically fighting every single day. But, I mean, we don't want to see that. We want to see people having some fun. We want to see Lisa doing something random.
I know.
It's just, with that, it just spoiled it, really.
Yeah.
It spoiled the show. It really spoiled the show. I actually did a list of what I thought the worst production twists ever. I think I had Nicole. I think she might have just made me top 10, actually. It was just such a bad mistake putting her in. Because she brought nothing to the show. She damaged Rex. She stifled a lot of the fun. And
I think she made Cat cry.
Well,
everyone made Cat cry.
Everyone made Cat cry.
Every minute.
Everybody broke her heart.
This whole entire house is weak sauce.
One thing I do need to bring up, one thing I'm going to talk about as we move on to our next thing. Can anyone remember Mikey and Sprouts? They had to eat buckets of Sprouts to earn the right to nominate all the housemates in hell.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
And Mikey decided the best way to do it was to smash them all up and eat them as a mush. And one of the things I do want to bring up, because it's sort of one of the reasons why personally I feel Mikey ends up losing it, is Mikey's slavish behaviour.
Well, basically a twat.
Now,
No.
I understand that. I understand that
Oh.
I understand that Mikey maybe didn't know what he was doing because he was blind, sort of didn't realise how bad he was coming across. But I know a lot of people who were really put off by Mikey because he was disgusting, because they thought he was disgusting.
Yeah, he wasn't the most hygienic,
No,
but I think, he got really far, so...
well,
I
to be fair though, he only got far because he was never nominated.
Everyone
Yeah.
took pity on him. That's the thing.
But I don't think people should have voted in pity.
No, and I felt that they did. But I mean, there were a lot of negative aspects of Mikey, such as this, that people seem to gloss over.
Yeah.
And also putting in the words of Charlie Brooker, it's unbelievable on how much I can openly hate a blind man.
And eventually got to that stage, to be honest. I mean, maybe Mikey wasn't as like super villainish, but he was annoying and really, really annoyed me by the end.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that later. We're also going to talk about the puppeteer task, and especially Mo and Sarah's performance when they had to do the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was pretty.
That was very impressive. I always enjoy stuff like that, and a great fun task, great creative task by the.
Yeah.
So I have to give you that.
Yeah, I do like the creative tasks. Yeah.
Unfortunately for the females though, this week saw a
And me.
battle of the males, and it was a Dale who ended up being evicted. Now, what made people obviously choose between what were basically two clones of each other, because that's what Dale and Stuart were? What made them say Dale was worse than Stuart?
I think Dale, he didn't give as much as Stuart.
What did Stuart give us?
Good.
Apart from Guy Liner. But yeah, I was never a Dale fan. I mean,
No.
nobody can ever really remember anything. The only thing I remember about Dale was him kissing Jen for a couple of times, being on the wrong side of Spitgate, acting like a bit of a thug, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I've copy and paste with Stuart, let's be honest, when it comes to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, very forgettable housemates. But Dale always seems to top the Big Brother hotness rankings, so there's like some group of fans there.
Yeah.
And we don't want to piss them off because, quite frankly, we love all you fans all with a big ugly bunch.
Yes. So we're going to move on though, because we don't want to waste our energy talking about Dale. What we're going to be talking about is the cake task.
Cake.
Yes. I knew that would take your interest, Paul. But yeah, Rachel was the head of the house that week, and as the head of the house, she had to judge between Heaven and Hell's cakes, which were based on the landmarks. Now it was, I believe, Heaven built the St. Paul's Cathedral, and it was Hell who built the O2 Arena, or the Millennium Dawn as it was.
What kind of bull crap is that? None of them look like each other.
Well, St. Paul's actually looked okay, but
St. Paul's looked like,
well, I thought St. Paul's was a little okay, but it was the O2, which was just utterly abysmal. Or was it the other way around, Joe?
No, it wasn't that way around.
Yes.
Correct.
Utterly abysmal. And Rachel, dressed in a cupcake outfit, which I always love. Rachel dressed as a cupcake.
No.
Obviously, sides with her friends, says that the O2's the best, even though it blatantly isn't.
Isn't, yeah.
And it basically leads to, again, a bit of Rachel resentment, led by Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Which once again brings up the question, how do you feel Rachel handled a lot of this grief, and do you think that helped?
I think she also made it worse by naming Mikey as the head of house.
Yes.
Because basically, I don't mean this in a mean way, but basically it was the blind leading the blind. Sorry!
You could have gone for something a bit more not as
Open
blatant
your
as
eyes,
that.
Paul.
Oh, horrible!
We're all going
No,
I'm
no.
going anyway.
We're all going
I'll see you
I'm
see.
clinging on to heaven just with the pinky.
Yeah.
Just waiting for St. Peter to go, no!
St. Pete Burns.
And thus I let go.
I love how we've just always thrown a Pete Burns reference every single episode.
See? It's a trait. It's like, you know...
Cat with cookies.
Yes, and speaking of Cat, we're going to be talking about something which Joe obviously won't agree with, but I want to bring up.
No.
Did anybody feel Cat had an influence in nominations?
By talking about people breaking her heart.
Yes, if anybody ever noticed this, every Monday before the nominations, Kat would start crying and she would talk to B Block about the two housemates who had broken her heart that week.
You've broken my heart!
And ironically enough, those two housemates that broke her heart ended up being nominated by the House. So the question I want to ask is, do you think there was maybe a bit more of a sinister side to Kat, which the editor tried to cover up?
I mean, like a silent puppeteer, per se?
Yes.
I think there was something there. I mean, usually with that sort of clever, dick move, of course, it does seem like, Kat was a bit more catty.
But did anyone... I like how that works. But did anyone else feel though that this made Kat far more interesting for me?
Yeah,
I mean,
she had more of a backbone, didn't she?
Yes, I mean, you can listen to her going Cookie Love and singing Happy House. It gets a bit tiresome. Seeing Kat as this manipulative schemer was brilliant for me. A fantastic morph.
See, I don't see her as manipulative, but maybe I'm rose tinted.
I mean, she wasn't manipulative in like an evil, supervillain way, but I thought it was fantastic to see Kat, this sweet, innocent Kat, being like such a game player.
An evil cat. The cat that bald guy was stroking in the whole thing.
And we continue on to one of the people who Kat ended up putting up, which was Stuart. Stuart went up against Rahcel, who everyone still hated because of the cake decision. And it was very close, surprisingly. Was it about 59% of the vote? Yes?
Oh, sorry. Get me fact checker out.
Yes, while Joe does that, we talk about Stuart.
59%.
Stuart, not a big character, but he actually showed a little bit more, He survived this far. I mean...
Were there any good Stuart moments that come to mind for you?
Not really.
One thing I do remember about Stuart though, and we need to bring it up. Can anybody remember Stuart's eviction? And the failed crowd surf?
What's what to see?
Locked him.
Yeah, which I remember basically, Stuart, after being evicted, he's walked downstairs, he's with Davina, jumps into the crowd, expecting them to catch him. It opens like the Red Sea.
Everyone
just falls flat on his face.
Crowd surf like fuck. I think he might be related to Moses because you've never seen a sea of people that part that quickly. No.
I think that's the one Stuart moment everybody remembers. Well, that and Guy Liner.
Yeah.
Oh, but mind you, I probably would love to see his face now.
What? He's been with Jackie Stallone.
So, Jackie, how are you today? Very fine, thanks. Very fine.
So we move on to week 11, and I want to talk about the whole Mikey versus Vex feud, which seems to build up steam by this point. Now, am I the only one who thinks it's a bit cynical? And felt that production sort of tried to push Mikey as a hero to the villainous Rex, because it just
you're not pushing a lot there.
But I mean, I think production had a real interest in trying to make Mikey the winner. Obviously, they built a lot of stuff in the series around it. So by Mikey acting as the hero to the villain of the series, arguably tried to make him look better.
I don't know. The only series that the only task they really used to promote Mikey was one where half were blindfolded and had to be led around early in the series.
Well, to be fair though, the whole series, even the series eye was a smashed eye. What's better person to win a series with a smashed eye than a blind man?
Yeah.
It's promoting the fact that if you got a disability, people will just fold to you like a game of poker.
But I don't think that was what was happening though. I think obviously Channel 4 would have been reading the polls, would have seen how lethargic the reaction was to Mikey. So by doing something like this and getting people interested in it, obviously was going to help his chances, because I think at that point Mikey wasn't going to win. By doing something like this, it would have given him more of a chance.
Yeah. It's just a chance to get him more of a sympathy vote. Yes,
and I think that was certainly what we're looking for. And someone who else was looking for this was Darnell.
Yeah.
I need to talk about Darnell.
The thing was, I think Mo described it best as he was paranoid.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
But I mean, Darnell started off absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And yet by week 11, either he was lusting over Sarah and then getting stroppy whenever she rejected him, or he was just moaning about how bad he was, woe is me, wearing his bright blue "Don't Label Me" hoodie.
Don't label me hoodie.
But it was such a shame to see that positive, happy Darnell of the early series just completely crumble. And I mean, it put a lot of people off him. I would have thought after Spitgate, Darnell should have been one of the contenders.
Yeah. I mean, he had his moments. There's been a few funny Darnell moments.
There were some great Darnell moments.
This kind of brought him down a bit. His paranoia. It was just kind of. It was off-putting.
Yes, very off-putting.
I mean, you don't see a good character like Darnell just really. I think he just ran out of steam. Really, he just can't be arsed with the whole thing, and he just went out of it.
It's not going to do any good for your chances though, win, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll move on though, and we're going to move on to the thriller task. Now, dance choreography tasks always turn out quite funny. This was no exception.
It's a Beyonce one. Oh my god.
Oh, the single ladies. Put your hands up. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now, things about the thriller task which I love, which I remember. I remember Rex being very uptight and demanding Nicole be the main lead. And I also remember Mikey having to take part in the task and having no idea what he was doing.
Why did I just feel something wet go across my face?
So of,
Where the hell am I?
so of course everybody's doing the tasks as well as they can, and Mikey's off in the background doing completely his own thing.
What was the rule for Mikey though? Was Mikey just allowed to do his own thing?
I think they were allowed to have a bit more leeway with Mikey, and am I right in saying that they passed the task?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's brilliant. That's good.
So it all turned out good in the end. But
I like my favourite thing with Lisa in that task, because she had total try-hard face. She was trying her best to get it all right.
For me, Lisa had some great facial expressions, didn't she? I mean, we haven't talked about Lisa as much as what we should really, because she was a great, funny background character.
Yeah. I wouldn't say background character even. I'd say she was just a great character.
I think her storyline pretty much finished though when Mario left.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
are we talking faces that will probably be meme-worthy? Or are they
I
just...
think there's quite a couple of meme-worthy ones. But yeah, we'll move it on because Lisa was one of the nominees that week. B Block continued their cull of the remaining remnants of the Whisper Club. It was her, Sarah, and Nicole ended up breaking the record for the highest ever eviction percentage.
Hey.
94% of the public vote went to Nicole that week.
And my
Good riddance.
God, she must have stamped on puppies and strangled kittens when she
No, she just moaned.
Really?
And moaned and whinged and moaned again and complained and asked to leave again.
Ooh.
I mean, so I'm sorry, but Nicole has to be one of the worst contestants ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, basic.
Do you think 94% though? Do you think she deserves that?
Yeah.
80 if lucky, but my God, how much moaning could you possibly do?
Well, that's the question I was going to ask you, which was, well, what did you think of Nicole as a housemate?
Terrible. I think it was a mistake to put her in.
Oh, massive, absolutely massive, and I totally agree with that. And she wouldn't have been a good housemate even if she wasn't Vex's girlfriend.
If she'd gone in on day one, she would have been out.
Exactly.
It's basically listening to a very, very long and very, very boring cutscene of a video game. It just grinds.
Yeah.
She was grinding, totally, Anna.
And it just grinds and grinds and grinds until the moment you're banging your head against the wall.
But it also completely killed all of Vex's momentum. And that's the main reason why I dislike Nicole. And the question I ask is, do you think Rex could have had a chance of winning if Nicole hadn't invented?
I think he would have got to maybe the top three if Nicole hadn't ruined the. He was building up steam, and Nicole kind of came along and blew the candle out.
Yes. We move on to week 12 though, and we're going to move on to one of the great comedy moments. Everybody remembers this. Mikey getting hit with the baseball.
Mikey versus the baseball.
Yes, it's like the mole man getting hit in the crotch with football.
Well, what I love about that is Well, if you remember the edit of the show, they don't actually show Mikey reacting. They have the high camera. Moore swings the bat, hits Mikey in the head, cuts away, and all we hear is, "Ow! Fucking idiot!"
Yeah.
Oh, they're back, they're back.
I think what it cuts to is
Rex smirking.
no. I think it cuts to Rachel and Lisa in the kitchen, looking out the window, going, "Oh my God, what the hell was that?"
Oh, I've been assaulted
Then
by a
they bring him
baseball.
inside to show Rachel and Lisa the big red mark on the back of his head.
Oh, you bloody idiots! No, that's
Great,
alright.
great
that's
funny
alright.
moment. And I mean, Mikey's not my favourite housemate, but that was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not my favourite. You bloody despised him when he was coming out.
Yeah, I wasn't a Mikey fan, I have to be honest.
Ugh.
As Joe starts singing Diana Ross. We'll move on though, and Mario returns. And
Yay! Health and safety.
Mario returns to
In a
propose to
heart.
Lisa.
And that was brilliant.
Great moment. I really did like it.
It's just, you don't see that much on Big Brother.
Oh, was it a real proposal or
I
was
think
it a
it was a
crayon?
real
It
proposal.
was genuine.
Written
Mario
in
was
crayon.
there. Mario was there with his suit. He had the cue card. He said,
Yeah, I know
"Lisa,
he did, yeah.
will you marry me?" Genuine proposal, and of course, Lisa's nodding through the window. Comes out. They kiss, they embrace,
Yeah.
and then he places the ring
It
on
was
the finger.
lovely.
Lovely, and it's such a shame them two aren't together.
Yeah.
I love Lisa.
Aye. It's a real shame. Mario, you're an idiot.
Yes, Mario, you've lost one absolutely corking woman.
You're an idiot, and you still look like Joey from Friends. I said it, and it was justified.
This was basically the week of the last remaining outsiders, the last remaining Whisper Club members, as it were. It's because, of course, Lisa had a moment in the sun, and then Sarah did. The Sarah and Darnell relationship really begins to climax here. And Sarah gets a real amount of sympathy for the way that Darnell treats her.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think Darnell took the wrong approach to
Yes.
it. Throughout the whole game, it was like Sri. It was like a lost puppy dog.
Yes, and it just got so annoying. I mean, Sarah got a lot of sympathy from this, and of course Sarah ends up doing well. How well do you think Sarah does if this whole Darnell thing happens? Because I mean, people were even saying Sarah could win.
Yeah, I don't think it would have changed the result. I think Darnell still would have gone first. Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers. Well, let's be honest. Anybody listening to this were diehards.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There is going to be a little bit of spoilers.
So that was good, and of course we end up losing Lisa. Now, this is basically our opportunity to talk about how much we love Lisa. Now,
Yay.
any great Lisa moments to come to mind for you, Joe?
Again, cookie porn.
Again, with the way it looked, it was practically cookie porn.
And yeah, but I think
Lisa
Lisa she was like the mum to the house.
Yeah.
She was mum to Bex and Lou.
But she was kooky as well.
Yeah,
She
she
was
was like
very
a
kooky.
crazy,
I mean,
crazy aunt.
Lisa wasn't the most relevant contestant to the series. I mean, she didn't really play that big part in Bebop
Yeah.
and Whisper Club. But she was funny. When Lisa was on screen, she was going to be funny.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
One question I do have is, do you think Lisa was better with Mario or without?
I think after Mario left, she kind of she got momentum.
I
And it-
felt she broke out a bit more when Mario left.
Really?
I felt she was always playing second fiddle to Mario's crazy antics. And once he left, Lisa began to show her own a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, any great Lisa moments?
Not.
Not
I think it was
anything
just the
that's-
wedding, really.
Not anything that's already been mentioned.
Yeah, not anything that's just been mentioned.
I always loved the fact that Lisa was always... They always did themselves up for costumes. Lisa was always looked hilarious regardless of what she...
Yeah.
Can you remember the Statue of Liberty?
Yes, yeah.
But I loved Lisa. I mean, great underrated housemate. Maybe not the most relevant, but certainly I think she deserves a lot more praise. But I thought she was fantastic. Now, we come to the final week. And we come to that double eviction. Now, the more infamous side of it is coming later on in the show. Joe's already got the tears starting, I can see. But now I'm going to talk about first. There was the vote to win that started between the 7 people remaining, and 7th place receiving the least votes was more. Now I have a confession to make, people. I'm a bit embarrassed about this myself, but I wrote up a list of who I thought could be contenders to win before the Steves and who could be prominent characters. Now, I got Kath right, I got Luke, I got Rex. The one who I thought could be a contender to win was Moore. And that's a very embarrassing to say. I thought that his gimmick of being a non-stereotypical Muslim, I sort of bought into that. And he didn't deliver on that. But well, what did you think of Moore, Paul? Did you think that he was a good guy?
He was. Sure, he ate most of the house out of house and home. But, you know, when it came to having a good time and all that, he practically sort of showed it.
I think Moore was okay in being a good person. I think the reason most people like him, I mean, there was a lot of Moore hate on the forums, especially on Survivor Sucks. They can't stand it, but it was his greed. There was a lot of dirty stuff that Moore did. Can you remember him eating? I think it was Darnell's bogie. And I mean that's just the epitome of Moore for me. I mean, it's disgusting, crude moments like that.
I'm gonna say this now. You can pick your friends. You can pick your nose. You can't goddamn pick your friend's nose.
It was utterly disgusting.
I like that when Moore was evicted, it was a Moore-themed party.
Yes, I like that.
I think that was perhaps set up.
Do you feel that Moore sort of got the shaft a little bit in how he was portrayed on the show? Because Moore had a bit more depth about him in the early weeks, and yet by the time the series ended, he was just this one-dimensional caricature. It was just like, haha, he's Moore, he's greedy, he's more eating food.
I think Kat started that off though, the greedy Moore thing. So I think Kat started it, and then I think that started off the greedy Moore, the we hate Moore thing.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, but no one actually said the word hate.
No, apart from Alexandra.
Yeah.
Apart from
Well, Alexandra hated everyone.
You can just see her going, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, you I'm alright with you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you.
So, Paul, were you pro-Moore or anti-Moore?
Pro-Moore. Sorry.
You know, it's just, you're saying it as pro-Moore, by this, anti-Moore. Someone who gives you biscuits.
Anti-Moore!
I thank you, but
Paul Barron, he's here all week.
I'm a bit pro-Mo and a bit anti-Mo at the same time, because let's face it, eating a lot and also eating your friend's snot is not on. But on the other hand, it was pretty.
We do agree the right decision was made for him to go
Yeah,
first.
the housemates basically were starving because Moore ate everything in the house.
He ate everybody.
Not the bees! Not the bees!
Yeah, but yeah, I'm a bit hit and miss about Moore. I mean, I sort of felt I had to support him because he was on the good side of the house, but he was disgusting at times.
Yeah.
But, so we move from Moore. We think that's the first only eviction of that week. And then Davina drops the bombshell. We're coming back. This is going to be a double eviction. So Kat, everyone's panicking. They don't know what to do. Kat famously says the words, "Big brother, please don't take any more of my friends." And then the announcement, Katria, you have been evicted.
Ha!
And the aftermath that happens afterwards. I mean, Darnell, they've started bickering here. They've started bickering here. Paul, I mean, Joe is that much of a Kat fan. But I mean, Darnell starts going, no, no, no. Kat starts crying, Rachel starts crying.
I start crying.
Rex is shouting, oh my god, even though he's got the great big smirk on his face.
It was ironic in a way. Because of the fact, don't take any of my friends!
Okay,
you. I thought it was a fantastic Big Brother moment. I mean, I know Joe gets upset about it, but Kat's eviction has to be up there with one of the great Big Brother moments.
Yeah.
And of course, can anybody remember Kat tearfully walking up the stairs in her more dressing gown, singing
Happy House!
Singing Happy House so sadly as she walks up the stairs.
See who's happy after this? Smash.
Such a great moment. I mean, I don't hate Cat, but that was hilarious for me. Hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Which, of course, brings us on to the point we need to discuss this, and we'll go over to Joe first because he's the perfect person to talk to. What was your opinion on Kat?
She was possibly the best housemate I've seen in Big Brother.
Really?
She was sweet, she was cute, she was conniving, she was a backstabber. She was just so nice and so evil at the same time, and she was just such a nice housemate.
I mean, I don't share the Cat love to that level, but on the whole, I'm the same. I felt Cat was a great character to the show. I felt she had a lot more depth to her than what the whole sweet, innocent cookie love was supposed to be. Where do you stand, Paul?
I'm afraid to say anything else, considering the fact of the pummeling I might get.
No, I'm holding Joe. I'm holding Joe back. You can be okay.
Okay, she sort of grinded a bit. I mean, sure. Happy House was actually pretty good.
But once you heard it 200 times,
it grinded a bit. It started to sound a bit like Cookie Mama in a way. You know, all we just need her is to say wonderful. Now there we go. There we go. There's Cookie Mama.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yes. Now, any great Cat moments that come to mind for you, Joe? That we haven't mentioned.
Shock suits. Her crying in a little shock suit. No more Big Brother!
Yeah, I don't feel Cat gets the appreciation that she deserves from it. I don't know if that's because she was in one of the Dark Age series as well. But she was a great character, great personality, you know.
Yeah.
Like what she brought to the show. But we have our final five, and we come to the finale night, one of the most infamous in Big Brother history because of the end result. We're going to go through all the finalists, we're going to be talking about them individually. It was a very close finale. That was one of the things that really came to mind for me. Any one of those five could have realistically won. But the first person's out, and it's Darnell.
Aww.
Now, where do you stand on Darnell? Because we had a character that in the early stages was prominent, a character that was interesting, very rootable after Spitgate, and then just faded into this whiny, miserable pity party.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it was basically a fun character. Then he just sort of fizzled out, really.
And in some ways, it was such a shame as well.
It was paranoia.
Firework.
After Spitgate, I could have really bought into Darnell as a winner.
Please.
Yeah. Any great Darnell moments come to mind for you?
Darnell moments. Probably him and Kat's cookie love.
Yes, I remember the song.
Cookie love, cookie love, cookie love.
And they called it Cookie Love.
Oh, that's going to be on the sophomore release.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I also love Rahcel innocently asking Darnell whether he was black.
Are you black, Darnell?
She's like, you're the last person to realise that.
Are you black, Darnell? No.
So yeah, Darnell could have been far better, but by the end he completely tainted himself, and that's a real shame for me. Because I do think that Darnell was far more positive on the whole than he was negative. And I know Sucks will dislike that because they're not too keen on Darnell, but I'm sorry. So Darnell goes out fourth, and then we come to Rex going out fourth. Now this was a bit of a surprise to people. I think people expected Rex to do maybe a bit better, but I don't think anybody can deny Rex was a star this half series.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the perfect anti-hero for me. I mean, you weren't supposed to like Rex, but he had such a charm and such a endearing quality about him. He wasn't likable, but there was something great about watching him on screen that just pulled you in. Where do you stand on Rex, Paul?
Rex was a good player. I mean, he's all the way to the final five, but that road was paved with, well, madness, really. But it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah, and what about you, Joe?
I think it was all right
until Nicole came in.
But
oh yeah,
he had that kind of
Nicole.
He had that kind of Arnold Rimmer, constant smirk gittishness about him.
You've got him spot on. It was Rimmer.
But yeah, I think he was a complete git all the time.
But
he was funny
it
because
was being a git which made him great. He was
Yeah.
the prototype Coolio.
Yes.
He was the rimmer afterwards.
And I mean everybody knows someone like Rex in the real life.
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of person who part of you wants to punch, but you love him because you want to punch
Yeah,
him.
because he's a git. Yeah.
Yes. And I think Rex has played that fantastically.
Yeah.
We move on though, and we're going to move on to Sarah. And like, there were a lot, especially in the later series of the Channel 4 series, some really random third place contestants. I mean, Sarah comes from nowhere to take it,
Yeah.
David, Mario. Like, Sarah just really carried so much momentum. She got a lot of boost from the whole Darnell thing
Yeah.
the week before.
Yeah,
And basically went from potentially being evicted against Lisa to challenging
Being
for
a star.
for the win. Would you have been happy with a Sarah win?
Yes, definitely over Rachel. Spoilers.
Well, that's because you're not a Rachel Rice fan.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not a Rachel Rice fan. It's just that, Rachel Rice, her name kind of just describes her personality. She's bland like rice.
Well, we'll come to that when we get to her. But I don't know. I mean, I like Sarah. I thought she was a nice enough girl.
She was, and she's beautiful.
I always felt though it would have been wrong for me, in my eyes, if Sarah had won that series on the back of 1 week, which she would have done, because that's basically what carried Sarah to third place. And to have someone like Rex who carried the show for like 12, 13 weeks, Rachel, who I felt really handles herself well during that time, and for Sarah to win after just 1 good week wouldn't have sat well for me.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been right.
Yeah. What's your opinion of Sarah, Paul?
Well, truth be told, Rachel is kind of hard again, but Sarah didn't actually put anything into it that was memorable. That sort of fizzled.
Apart from her lovely looks.
Oh, she was stunning, very Angelina Jolie. But yeah, I've been more pro Sarah than was anti Sarah, but it wouldn't have sat well with me if she won.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Sarah as a person. That's just because of the way that the popularity built.
Yeah.
But we come to that final two, and this is where the podcast could get very dodgy. It's Mikey versus Rachel. Everybody expecting Mikey to win. He's got the sympathy vote. He's up against somebody who production has told us has been boring and irrelevant for those weeks. The announcement comes in, Rachel, you are the winner, and that look of sheer disbelief on Rachel's face.
She couldn't believe
that.
it.
What a great moment that was
just,
for me.
It just, it was basically the fact that Michael has proven to himself, sure, he's a blind man, but yet he's a disgusting blind man.
Well, you can come second in a game.
Well, you bring me up to the point where we discussed Mikey basically, which is, did anyone find it quite alarming that Mikey still ended up getting second, even though we had all these negative qualities, these 13 weeks worth of negative qualities shown to us, the slobbishness, the vileness, the swearing.
Yeah, he just...
And yet, even despite all that, he comes within 1% of winning.
It's
he
like
was a character, yeah.
Yeah, he was a character, but it's like putting Anne from Little Britain onto Big Brother. It's just a little bit irritating with the fact that no one actually felt like.
But I've always been of the belief that if Mikey entered that house as a normal man with no disability, not only would he be nominated early on, he'd be out very early on. It shows how much the sympathy vote worked.
Yeah.
And you think that's worrying for me, that people just judging solely on one trait rather than on the character, because Mikey wasn't the nicest character in my opinion.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, he had his moments though. He was funny.
Oh, I mean, he had some funny moments. I mean, some of the sweating was funny, and the tennis ball, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just never been a big Mikey fan. And this is where the internet explodes. DS either kills us or hails us as gods. We talk about Rachel Rice.
Fair enough. Alright, let's talk about Rachel Rice. I feel the need to piss off a few 100 million.
And I feel the need to suck up and glow to those people, because let's be honest, DS members are the only people who listen to this podcast.
Well, in that case then, I love you, you dateless wonders.
So whilst Paul's going to basically jump to whichever side's in power, I'm going to talk to you first, Joe. Where do you stand on Rahcel Rice as a winner?
Rahcel Rice as a winner, I wouldn't say she's my favourite winner. She had a couple of moments that were funny. I can't name them because I've got terrible memory, and really she didn't really do that much. But
what do you think it was that made people warm to Rahcel so much?
I think Rahcel clung to Mikey. Mikey was popular, and Rahcel was clinging on to him. So I kind of knew that they wouldn't be final two from week 12. And then Mikey showed his slobbishness, and I think people preferred Rahcel over Mikey.
Which you brought me over to a really good point, which is how much of Rachel's win do you think was down to an anti-Mikey vote?
A lot.
Very much a lot. I mean, the man smushes up friggin' Brussels sprouts. Who the hell does that?
Now, where do you stand on the whole criticism of Rahcel being boring? Because this was something that was basically painted as gospel by production team. If you watch Big Mouth or Big Brother's Little Brother, all these criticisms saying, oh, Rachel's boring, Rachel's irrelevant, Rahcel shouldn't win because she hasn't done anything. Where do you stand on that? Do you agree with that or do you disagree with that?
I kind of agree with that. I don't see her. She was boring, but.
Did you feel uncomfortable though? And this is probably one of the main reasons why I was pro Rahcel, which was that did it feel uncomfortable to you that production seemed to be painting this message that it was wrong to be a nice person? Because
No.
I just felt that was the main reason that they were criticising Rahcel. Here we have this nice, pleasant girl, and they seem to hate her for that.
Well, as we all have learned throughout life, nice guys don't actually get a very popular thing. I mean,
I just found it really refreshing that we were rewarding someone for being a nice girl.
Yeah, she was nice.
and this is actually a really, really good thing to actually have, because, you know, who doesn't want a hero to win?
Exactly, and I felt that there was an element of good versus evil there. I mean, Mikey was still more Whisper Club than he was B Block.
Yeah.
So I felt it was good in Rahcel in that respect to win. And I've always been pro Rahcel because I felt that she handled adversity very well. She wasn't as boring as what people made her out to be. She stood her own. She had a lot of fun moments on the feeds. I'm not as pro Rahcel as what some of the DS lot are. Basically, it is psychotic if you ever criticise her on there. But I do like the girl, and I understand why she won. Personally, I would have preferred Rex, but given the choice between her and Mikey, I'd certainly go for Rahcel.
Yeah, I would.
Yes. Which brings us on to our general assessment of the series. Now, the people call this the dark age of Big Brother. This was a corker.
It was.
It was. I mean, shame, because you used to bug me to watch this series on and on and on, but this is actually.
And now you understand why.
Yeah, because this is Big Brother at its prime. It was technically, it was a brilliant show.
It's one of my favourite series.
Are you just going to ask the question? Where were you going to rank it?
Definitely towards the top. Maybe top 3.
Better than Big Brother 10?
No, not as good as Big Brother 10.
Because those two are very similar
Yeah.
series for my
Yeah.
eyes. But what about you, Paul? Where would you rank it?
I would say that this is you know, a good series, considering the fact that this is reminding you of what Big Brother was to begin with. Basically, how many? 16? Or basically taking a lot of random people, 21 random people from auditions, right? They have no idea on anyone else, and they have no idea on who anyone else, and they're just basically either being divided or being absolutely brilliant together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what Big Brother needs to have now.
And quickly, before we start wrapping up, favourite and least favourite housemates in the series. Joe?
Rex is my non-favourite, and Kat is my favourite, obviously.
Joe? Paul?
I'm going to go with Mo. I mean, you know, you're a big guy. You need the food, but you don't pick people's noses and eat it.
And your favourite housemate?
Favorite? I thought that was my favourite housemate.
Oh, right. What's your not favourite housemate?
So your favourite housemate's a bogey picker?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And your least favourite?
My least favourite, Michael.
Least favourite Dennis, favourite housemate Rex. That's unfortunately all we got time for today. This has been a fantastic episode of Big Brother's Big Archive. We've had a lot of fun making it. When we tune in next time, we're going to be talking about Big Brother 8. Now, some people have been asking, why aren't you doing Celebrity Hijack? Well, we weren't entirely sure how we were going to talk, how many people were interested in it. If the demand's there for us to do Celebrity Hijack, we'll do Celebrity Hijack in the near future. But the next one we've got planned is Big Brother 8. Not a favourite of mine, but I'm sure we'll build up the enthusiasm to try and talk about it. But I've really enjoyed making the Big Brother 9 podcast. I'm sure Paul and Joe have as well.
It was pretty refreshing to actually see Big Brother, before Big Brother became the only way was Big Brother.
Yeah. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to making the next one. I've been Karl Bainbridge, that's been Joseph Tilley.
Happy house!
That's been Paul Barron.
Who the hell threw that?
And that's all we've got time for. We'll see you again with Big Brother 8. And remember, nice guys sometimes do win. Bye bye for now.
Bye.